jabronis, we're back here in the studio after a great trip down to Hotlanta at ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. We went down to see, as you know, because you all watched last week's episode. Went down to see my brother Brandon Bonji. Had an awesome time with him. Great stories, great memories. Good episode. I thought it was a pretty strong episode. It wasn't standard getting drunk and being stupid, but it was just a slightly less drinking, a little bit more serious. So that was pretty cool. A little different flavor from the guests this time around. So that was fun for me. And then, of course, a lot of people were asking about more info on the Vegas trip, because apparently I didn't tell enough people beforehand that was a thing in our lives, that we went to Vegas for the first time ever on a free ticket from Miss America. But a lot of stories from that trip. That was a wild, wild time. So we'll get him back on. Maybe we'll get the Wet Cat on one day as well, and all the other players from that week, and kind of have maybe a reunion tour. Maybe we'll record the episode in Vegas. That would be wild. You guys got to support the podcast. We got to grow it so I can get some income, and then we can make that trip over there. But one day at a time. Now, I did want to bring up something before we get into the actual how you doings of the Cage Fact and the Junction. I got an email from, I'm not going to mention his name yet, because he's not an enemy of the state. He's not an enemy of the Junction just yet. He's just doing his job, and I'll explain in a little bit. I got an email from a fella from Embry-Riddle. Now, in this email, it was a form letter, copy-paste letter. This was number 2 that I got from this guy. The second copy-paste letter, the same email about I want you to share your experience of your time at Embry-Riddle with me, and we could do a Zoom call and record it. Would love to hear about how it impacted you, how your degree helped you after school. And then also, I want to talk about how you can stay more involved in the school now. Now, as you all know how I feel about my time at Embry-Riddle. Thanks a lot. So when I got this email with this fake I care with the little sneak in of get more involved with your money, naturally I had to respond. So I responded. And now it's not quite to the point yet where it's episode worthy, but I wanted to prime the pump, as Sausage and Peppers 1 says, and let you guys know that shots have been fired, and there could very well be an episode-worthy update for you and the Junction on how that response went. I did end it with letting the guy know that I'd be happy to go on his Zoom call and record my experience for posterity. I also gave him a couple links to some episodes of the podcast for his enjoyment, for his entertainment pleasure, of course, because you gotta plug the brand. You gotta keep the Junction growing any way you can. But stay tuned for that. It's not episode worthy yet. There's been no response. The first shot has been fired, really by him, honestly, and then I fired back. And we'll wait to see, okay? The pump has been primed, so stay tuned. All right. One more thing. I got to look at my notes here. Before we get to the Cage Fact Junction, how you doing? I am planning a brother's trip again next week up to Syracuse to have like a reunion tour with the Wet Cat, the Creature, Bonji, Bone Crusher, And then an additional previously unmentioned brother guest, potential guest, if you will, Tucker, who's a part of the family, hasn't been a guest yet, but we're all going up, road tripping up to Syracuse for Memorial Day weekend. So potential big time brothers episode, potential. I'm going to bring all the gear. We're going to dick around and see if we can figure it out and make it happen. No promises, but a potential for a bombshell episode for a couple weeks from now, whenever it happens, okay? So stay tuned for that. A lot of things in the works right now. A lot of potential great things happening. So stay tuned. Stay alert. Subscribe to the Instagrams and the Facebooks so that you can get the notifications that'll pop up on your phone anytime an LPDS update happens. So stay alert. Now, with that said, all of that done, step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Prince Nevin of Nigeria's charity fund. The deposed Prince of Nigeria, Nevin, just inherited a mass fortune and wants to give it away to you. But he needs your donations to unlock the funds to distribute amongst the masses. So, visit www.johnlibretti.com, click the donate button at the top right, give your $100 donation today, and secure your $10,000 inheritance money now from Nevin. Look, there are not going to be many times in this world, in your lifetime, when the deposed Prince of Nigeria comes a-calling with this incredible offer. Okay? So hit the website, top right. What is that? Here for you guys, top right of the screen. My left, your right. Click it, donate, reap the rewards. Donate that or invest that $10K into something smart like Dogecoin or some other how you doing. Before you know, you'll be sleeping on a mattress full of cash. So there you go. You're welcome. Now, the cage fact. So back in the day, there was a movie called Peggy Sue Got Married. One of the stars on that movie was Kathleen Turner. And if you don't remember her, I'll refresh your memory in a second here. Now, the other star, the co-star, the main star for all intents and purposes was Nick Cage in that movie. Now, Kathleen Turner did not like Nick Cage while filming that picture. In fact, do I have a quote here? No. But she hated him. She thought he was only in the movie because the film was directed by Nick Cage's uncle, the one and only Francis Ford Coppola, as we all know from previous Cage facts. The entire experience for her, she said, was miserable, terrible. She hated his bizarre behavior, and she even tried to get him fired several times throughout the filming of the movie. But obviously, he wasn't fired, and they made the film anyway. Now, if you rewind your brains back a little bit to several Cage facts ago, I believe actually it was a fact given to us by Nicky Sticks himself, my brother. Kathleen Turner, I think. I could be mistaken. If I'm mistaken, I'm sorry ahead of time. I don't need to get trolled by people claiming credit for the facts. Cage credit. Kathleen Turner sued. Excuse me, I got this wrong. Rewind. One more time. Erase the brains, deneuralize. All right. Kathleen Turner wrote a book claiming that Nick Cage stole her chihuahua, her dog or whatever. And then Nick Cage sued her for libel, which is like slander, libel, slander, same kind of how you're doing, similar. That was an old Cage fact. So her hatred towards Nick Cage was so deep and ingrained inside her that she even wrote a book about it or mentioned him in the book and caused this rift to boil over, really. And Cage had to sue her pants off. And that's what you get. You mess with the bull, you get the horns. All right. So that's the Cage fact. You're welcome. Now moving on, I'll spin the logo up for the junction. Probably going to be a quick one, but I believe to be important. Okay. Well, I get my notes up here. Hold the wire. All right. Now, as I'm sure some of you have seen in the news recently, the past, 2 weeks, a week, I'd say, there's been more UFO footage. Now, stay with me here. We're not going down the rabbit holes completely, but follow me, fellas. More UFO footage, okay? I think over the past week or 4 days or so, it's just been kind of blowing up in the news again. Interviews have come out. There was a 60 Minutes interview, I believe, with some guy talking about how the Navy off the coast have seen sightings almost daily. It's been so regular. It's been crazy. So much so with the footage and the sightings and again, the revamp of UFO coverage that the intelligence community, the IC, they call it, intel community, has been tasked to build yet again another report on the most recent findings to present to Congress, Senate, whoever, by June. So the next month or so, they got to compile a report, give their assessment on what they think it might be, and present that to House and Congress. Now, it has not been confirmed that this report is going to be made public. I think it's kind of implied that it's going to be a publicly available report after they present it to the corrupt politicians to make their, I guess, assessments on it, have their opinions. But here's what's key about that. All right. We're going to theorize for a little bit. Now, I don't want to call it a conspiracy theory, so we're not going to get the foil out just yet, Aaron Bradley. We're going to hold off, but it's going to be at the ready, okay? I got a couple of theories on what I think potentially could happen here. All right? So let's go down these little rabbit holes just a little bit, all right? Just to wet the beak a little bit. Again, prime this pump now. Now, they got to make their assessment, the intelligence community, the IC. I was going to say the IG, but nobody cares about what they think on IG. So they got to bring this as an assessment for those of you heathens who don't know, is when you gather information on a particular subject matter and you make an educated guess on what you think it all means or what you think will happen based on the pieces of the puzzle that you're putting together. So they're going to make an assessment on the information gathered on the UFO sightings and the other reports that they have and all the other information that we don't know about. And they're going to present that, what they think this all might be or who it's attributed to, and present that, okay? Now, two potential routes this can go right off the top of my head. The first route is if the intelligence community and then the House and Senate come together and they agree to push back, fall back really on their original decades-old shtick of nothing is confirmed, there's nothing to see here, it's all a bunch of malarkey, don't listen to these people, it's just videos of, normal airplanes or whatever it is. They'll find and make up some bullshit answer. That's theory number one. Or I guess, potential conspiracy theory number one. This would bring them back to their original message, get them back on track, and really shut the people up a little bit because it's been such a tired retort from the government on the whole UFO, are aliens real kind of big question, that it'll just die on the vine again. We'll get frustrated. We'll say, oh, of course they're going to say that. Why would they tell the truth? And then we'll quietly go off into the night defeated once again by the government. And this is great for them because they're confirming nothing. Once again, they're back on their same circle of bullshit, if you will. And it's the easiest way out for them. And they could keep calling us crazy. Not them, calling us crazy, even though they know they have all the information right here. Now, you guys are crazy. We know that it's not aliens. So move on. Roswell, move on. It's time to move on. Sorry, nobody cares anymore. So that's what I think they might do. Number one. Okay? Or potential conspiracy rabbit hole number two. This one you might want to get the foil out for. I don't know yet. I'm still up in the air on this one. Or they reveal something that's big enough to flood the media for months. Some shocking details that they happen to keep finding out about each week from when the initial report comes out through the next several weeks after that, to flood the media and get your brains and your attention spans and your focus, your laser focus, off of something else. What are those something else? Let's dig down a little deeper. Could be to cover up political issues they don't want us to know about or pay attention to. We've seen that before. Dozens and dozens of times in our short, stupid lives. A new war. New chaos inside the country itself. They don't want to deal with that, the politicians. They don't want to deal with the blowback, so they'll throw us a cookie. Like they've done so many times in the past. Just last year, if you don't remember, when we talked about it on previous episodes. So they'll throw us a UFO cookie, let us know something more. One more clue. What's that dude's name from Blink-182? The lead singer. Tom DeLonge? I think that's it. Something like that. He said it years ago on Rogan's podcast that the government pulled him into the fold and tasked him with slowly revealing in movies and little reports and articles and through his website, new information about UFOs and aliens to get us used to it so it's not a complete bombshell. So maybe old Tom DeLonge was right again, and they're going to do that to cover something up politically. Or, and I might be biased here, because this is what I think is going to happen. They're going to time it perfectly to blow up the media with some UFO alien update information right around the time the Ghislaine Maxwell child sex trafficking pedo island court case begins in July. And if you think I forgot about that, think again, jabronis, because it's still fresh in the mind. I told you I wasn't going to go away, and I wasn't going to stop bitching and talking about it, and it's back. We got a giant sex trafficking case, a child sex trafficking case involving everybody, coming up starting July. Ghislaine Maxwell could be the key to out everybody. And that starts in 2 months. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody in power. Dozens of politicians, media moguls running all the quote unquote news media networks that you guys watch so often, rich celebrities, not so rich celebrities, rich non-famous people, everybody. We're already seeing it. We already see it this past couple weeks with the recent Bill and Melinda Gates divorce. If you did any sort of digging on that or paid attention for even an hour of that situation the last couple weeks, you would see that the divorce papers were started back in 2019. What else happened in 2019, folks? Somebody revealed and publicized the relationship between Bill Gates and Epstein, his pal. Okay, now, since 2019, more is coming out about the Gates and Epstein relationship that they had, both business and personal, and it's starting to come to fruition. The thing is starting to unravel for old Billy boy. Shit's getting crazy. Luckily for him, he was able to microchip several million of us before it's too late for him. So good job, Bill, on the 5G microchips. How you doing in the vaccines? Good work. But that's a big thing. And again, to go back to all the politicians that are secretly involved, all the celebrities that are involved or knew about it or have been complicit in it, all the people in the media, the people running our country, there's all a little connection with all of them to this sex pedo island and the case coming up in July. So then the question doesn't become, what's up with the UFOs? It should become, what are they going to do about the trial? That's what we need to be paying attention to. What is the media and the government going to do to get our minds off the trial? Couple options there. Let's dig deeper, folks. Let's keep going. Is it going to be the UFO updates? Or are they going to just flood the media like we said originally with something? UFO stuff, aliens. That's big. People want that. They already wet our whistle with that for the past however many decades. We're waiting for an answer for how long now. They know it. Maybe they drop that bomb on us and we all pay attention to aliens again finally. And then they do the trial. Nobody hears nothing. None of the politicians, they all get off scot-free and everybody goes home happy, except for the children, of course. Or are they going to start maybe like a new war or a national catastrophe? Riots, looting, some sort of serious incident. They send our troops to war to go fight a new enemy out of nowhere. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying I believe any of this. But again, use your brains, critically analyze the situation. We got to think about all options here. They're all on the table. We cannot put it past these people to do the redirect. Is that the official government term? Do the redirect? It's a magician's famous trick. It's like one of their easiest, most reliable tricks ever, the old redirection. And I would know I love magic. As you've heard before, I have no problem admitting it either. I'm a big fan of magic and magicianry. And the redirect is a fail-safe move for any self-respecting magician. So I could definitely see the media and the government giving the old redirect to the country again. Another option. Epstein himself, we all know what happened to him. Suicide by Clinton. Is that going to happen to Ghislaine Maxwell? So all these things are going on. They're up in the air, and we don't know the answers to them yet. But the big thing I want you to focus on is that is happening in July still. That is a major issue that nobody wants to touch for some reason. You see maybe a handful of people talking about it on social media, maybe a handful. And any news reporter update on those at all gets snuffed out immediately in the news media. They throw it out there just to check the box and cover their asses and say they talked about it, but then they're on to something else. Anything else. They'll make up more problems to not have to talk about one of the biggest, most despicable, disgusting issues we have in this world today and in this country right now is the fact that everybody in power knows something about this major child sex ring where child rape went on and trafficking of children. And they knew about it, and now they're continuing to snuff it out and make it a non-important issue. And the fact that nobody else is paying attention to it or thinks it's serious is mind-boggling to me. So if I got to be the nut job to put on the tinfoil hat to bring this shit up on a regular basis, I'm going to do it. We owe it to the kids and to the families of those kids and the victims to pay attention to this and make sure justice is actually served. We got so many other bullshit, I don't even know what to call them, stances and issues and fake issues, really, that people love rising up and making a stink about it. I see everyone posting on social media all the time about stupid nonsense and how they think it's important. But this, no, mum's the word. You talk to somebody in person about it, they're like, oh, yeah, it's a terrible issue. Oh, then why aren't you posting about it? You post about the Prince and Meghan and their dramatic interview with Oprah, but nothing about the child sex rape going on and trafficking. Where are those posts? Where's the awareness there? The awareness is here on the LPDS, and it's not going to go away. And I don't care if there needs to be UFO stories to cover it up for me to dig down the rabbit holes to get back to talking about this problem and this court case coming up. I will find a way to keep this on your radars and remind you that this is a huge case and could hopefully potentially serve justice and provide even a little bit of solace to those victims and the families of those victims of one of the most despicable, largest child sex pedo trafficking rings in the history of this country and this world. So stay tuned for that. We will see what happens come July when everyone's barbecuing for Independence Day, which I love, by the way. I'm a patriot after all. I got the flag. Everyone's going to forget about it, though. Okay? And when you see that the big story on the news all throughout July is some made-up crock of shit, sit back and remember, revert back to your training. Lessons learned here. Revert back to your LPDS training. Libretti told us about this. He told us that some crap was going to be considered a major issue as a redirect for the real issue going on in the background. We'll see what happens. That's all I got for today on that, okay? I'll spare you the rest of my spiel because it's a lot of the same nonsense, if you will. And I know you're tired of hearing it, I'm sure, even though I'm not tired of talking about it. So we'll end with the big three, of course, because that's another important thing we got to keep in our brains and recondition ourselves and change our own internal culture to follow, to be better. the first one is exercise, of course. Now, if I have the photo, I think I got it. I'll pop it up here. I've been saying a lot in hashtags and stuff. Keep pushing to the right or push to the right. Now, this photo will explain that a little bit. It's a split image, 3 different images of a guy who started out fat, and then he got more fit and skinnier, and then he got ripped. Not stick figure skinny, but jacked and shredded up. And it said something like, always make sure you're pushing to the right no matter what. So when I say that, when the Brotherhood says that, when anybody else in the Junction says that, that's what we mean. You always want to push to the right. No matter how bad you feel about yourself that day, no matter how shitty or tired you are. I just got done from a long day at work. It's 9:00 on a Friday, I think, tonight. I still got to go work out. I'm still going to do something because we got to push to the right. I've got nothing but embarrassing runs and interval workouts that I've done the past several weeks that I've been posting a little bit of it. I'll post more to hold myself accountable, but you see how slow they are and they're embarrassing, and it doesn't look like I'm doing a lot of work, but we're pushing to the right because it's important, because exercise helps you physically, mentally, and emotionally. It helps so much. I feel like such a bag ass right now, and I felt the same way yesterday after work, and I did a workout, and I felt better about myself. Even if it's a little bit. We got to go baby steps. Don't forget, we're rebuilding a new lifestyle for ourselves, okay? This doesn't happen overnight. Exercise every day. Number 2, don't be a shitty person. Think about others as human beings before you make your blind judgmental jabs at someone, whether in person or even easier via text message tough guy style, keyboard cowboy. Now, I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, shocker. I'm a guy who listens to Joe Rogan, the male Oprah for guys. And he was saying about one of the biggest issues with the social media wave and everything is that there's too much judgment without empathy. Now, empathy, for you heathens out there who don't know, is just a 3-syllable word for what we talk about here on the podcast, on the LPDS. Think about others as human beings. Try to put yourself in their shoes. Empathize with their situation before you pass judgment. Now, we know it's easy to pass that judgment when you're hiding behind your Twitter handle, your Instagrams, or whatever, to fire off a couple of shit talks or trolls and think you're hot shit because you were able to shit talk the president of the United States themselves directly, or some famous baseball player, or some celebrity. That's the dangerous power of social media, is now we have the ability to go VFR direct. That's an aviation term. VFR direct right to our heroes, celebrities we hate, politicians we don't like or like, and we can comment on their post or message them directly behind our keyboards or our phones and say whatever the hell we want. Never before in history have we been able to do that and with this ease of use, with this ability. This ability, not disability, you idiot, Libretti. Get it together. So be mindful. Understand that power we have, but also respect the fact that the person that you're thinking about shit talking is a person. Empathize. Don't be a shitty person. And number 3, the most important one, if nothing else, this is the one you want in your brain. You want it ingrained in your brain and your heart and your soul. Be thankful and grateful genuinely for all the good you have in your lives. Your health, your family, the important people you have, The fact that you're a free American if you're an American citizen here in America. Have a heartbeat. Have a roof over your head. Anything you got that enriches your life even a little bit. A hat. A tank top. A nipping shirt like I got right now. I might have been nipping all day. Sorry, folks. Sorry, Terrence. It's a family show, I know. Anything you got that enriches your lives and provides even a shred of positivity, you got to be grateful for that. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. Because you're going to be on your deathbed one day wishing you had the opportunity back to be grateful and appreciate the good stuff you had in your lives. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to live, you don't want to end your days here with the regret. You just want to be happy with the life you live because you were grateful and thankful and appreciative for all the good you have. So remember that. Thank you guys again. I'm grateful for you every day. After every episode, I see the feedback, even from the trolls. And I'm grateful that I have even anybody listening to me rant and rave about absolute nonsense. It brings me so much joy that you have no idea how helpful it is in my life. So thank you for that. Keep listening. Tell everybody as you know about this, even if they don't like it. Tell them to tell others about it. Spread the good word. Hopefully, I enrich and provide a little bit of entertainment and positivity in some of your lives as well. But if not, I'm sorry. We tried. But thank you again. I love you all. Stay strong.